Well, welcome everyone to another week. We have our AMA today. We do this every Thursday. Lots of fun things to talk about. We have been working on mission control, lots of different things on mobile. So definitely encourage you guys to go on mobile, check it out. We I believe we released some stuff this morning. The main things are the things like the staking layouts, collection, crafting, all of those are now mobile optimized. So you can basically interact with them on your device and it should all work. We also are deploying the user interface for storage and we did some enhancements there. So the first thing is when you log in, you should see a resource navigation on the top of the game. If you click on any of those resources, it will show you the information around storage and the decay rate just right there. So, and then we also added in some circular indicators for each resource, some visual indicators that you guys were asking for to basically quickly see how close you are to your max storage balance and if you're over your storage limit. If you're over it, it will basically turn red so you can see which ones are in the excess. So we decided yesterday to hold off on deploying decay until we have another round of feedback from the community on the resources. Fuel is the one that we're looking into. Essentially, we made a mistake on our end with calculating the density of fuel in the fuel containers, the storage containers, the tanks, and so it would increase the fuel capacity, storage capacity a bit. So we're looking into that. And then we just want to make sure that the science is sound for the other items as well. So we're going to be pushing off decay until next week, about next Tuesday. And we expect to have that in there next Tuesday. We will do our best to get the new numbers in tomorrow. And our goal is to just not change it too much. So, because we're obviously aware that we have released the storage numbers and you guys are doing some trades based on that. So we want to try to keep it similar, but also respect the science as much as we can. Okay, so Manja, you said mobile remains an issue. Can't commit anything on pools. So I can have to confirm button. It doesn't scroll low. Okay, so we'll look at that. Just confirm that that's in the liquidity modal. Is that what you're looking at? Charlie, how you doing? Are you
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
I just went through the mobile fixes and storage and decay updates.
Oh, okay.
And it looks like there is still a bug on mobile for expansion missions where the confirm button can't be scrolled to. So we might just want to
Oh,
double check that.
okay.
But other than that, we are looking good. So, do you want to talk about any other div updates like parts, outpost
Y-
search, land, that sort
Yeah,
of thing?
yeah, yeah. So let me just mention really quickly that um, we're near complete with basically the parts and essentially what we're going to do. So what this is basically salvage and crafting. So basically you can turn your base cards into parts and then you can craft them as well into craft the parts then into items. So that work is actually being wrapped up this week. Most likely we'll get this done by the end of the week and we'll start testing it in earnest. So we're pretty excited about that. I don't actually, because I had to reboot, I don't have the actual schedule up in front of me, but when were we looking at pushing that out? Hunter, do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, so next Tuesday is when we're looking at launching the Decay. Now, this is pending if we can get some updates. Like, there's some discussions that are quite technical going on, to make sure that things are that we're confident in the numbers. Um, so yeah,
Yeah. So we were going to go out with Decay next Tuesday, but then the parts and crafting and salvage we're going mid-July, right? I got it back up. So
yeah. So that's right. So in a couple of weeks, we should be ready for parts and salvage. We're just testing it right now, in our testing environment, and everything is looking solid there.
yeah. And then the other exciting thing that we really started this week is land. So we started to work on land, and we've done some really cool work on the map so far. And we're kind of in the early phases of it, but we've already sort of made progress to the point where we're able to zoom into the map, place things on the map, do some things like that. So we're pretty excited about that and the fact that that's just getting going and we're starting work on that. And then the last thing I'd like to say is that for Outpost Surge, we're actually pretty much have the initial beta testing build that we're going to start testing internally for the next couple of weeks. And that's actually being produced this week, but we pretty much have that build today. So that's really exciting as well, because now we're at a place where we can sort of in earnest test it as the actual game and then put the finishing touches on that. And that's about the work this week.
Yeah, the Outpost Surge is pretty wild. It's it's like I'm excited for people to start trying it because we've gotten pretty wild with the gameplay. It's intense now. Like, hazards roll in. There's a lot of movement, strategy. There's things that uh, we basically put in 2 additional features called command actions and adjacent actions. So if you build essentially structures of the same type next to each other, they have a bonus effect. So, like, powered facilities next to each other produce additional power. And then command actions allow for astronauts that are moving around the board to heal and shield certain items if they're adjacent to those items. So, it's very cool. Hazards are also now mobile, so they move through the map. We've adjusted what we're calling like the fog of war effect, where instead of showing everywhere, like where the missions are, you have to move your vehicles or astronauts to explore the map to see where they are. So there's a lot more depth to that. And really, what the general plan with Outpost Surge is we will be updating the website with some of the new effects and gameplay. We are going to deploy the game to the web so that we can connect the Berachain wallet to the game. And then that will allow for us to check if you have a Bearnaut or not. And we're thinking that we'll probably end up airdropping. This is kind of new news, so brace yourselves. um, but we're thinking about airdropping the Bearnauts to people when we release the closed beta in a few weeks, so that they can get access to the closed beta. Now, we're still going to hold off on the trait reveal until the mainnet launch of Berachain. but we don't think that people are going to really sell the Baronauts when they receive them, because there's really no point in selling until you see what traits you get, because the trait will really affect the value of the Baronaut. And so really we just want to like get people to play the game, test it. And again, if you play the game, test it, you're going to be earning points for an additional airdrop of Surge. So it also, would make sense for you to keep that Baronaut and play the game in order to get those juicy Surge tokens. So yeah, it's basically all going to be encompassed on the web. This will also allow us to deploy the Surge token to testnet so that we can test it on the Berachain ecosystem. And we're going to do some promotional events there. So look for those next month, just to kind of get things back into the swing of things as we start to ramp up for launch. And then, we're working with the ecosystem over there to get featured on certain websites, and then also just make sure that we're ready for launch. So that's all shaping up quite nicely for Outpost Surge. And again, the game's super cool. We are also, I believe, approved for Steam to launch the game on there when we're ready. So Outpost Surge should be coming to Steam, which is another big thing. So yeah, we're excited about that. Who's Drop Doctor? Thank you, Doctor. I don't know. I saw doctor stuff in the chat. I guess I can't spell you're now a doctor. That's scary. Anyways, let's see what else is going on. So yeah, we're excited about Outpost Surge. That's going to be coming soon. Oh yeah, we had another idea around mission control. So obviously parts and salvaging is going to come, but one of the things we were looking at is the ability for you to optimize your Marsha earnings. So there's a chart on Resource Chain, and it has a percentage of efficiency. So there will be a button where you just press optimize, and you pay Marsha. The Marsha you pay is like 0.1 Marsha per collection strength. And then it will automatically optimize your Marsha earnings so that it goes back up to 100%. So we're thinking about adding that in next week as kind of a nice little enhancement there. And all of that Marsha would be burned. So click the button, burn the Marsha, optimize your earnings. So let me know what you guys think about that. Anything else on mission control side or Outpost Surge, Charlie, that I'm missing?
No, I don't think so. I'm currently filing the confirm button bug. This is real-time development you guys are witnessing right now. Just so you.
Yep. We never stop.
We never stop. Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about land real quick. So we have we're working on the land feature of mission control. We have the system that is showing essentially the land plots. The idea is basically land plots will be around the main settlements. I'll show just a couple images for you guys so you can check out kind of how things are looking. So this is how we're designing the objects on land. So each object will have its own footprint. And basically you can see like we're starting to build out a system where each item can be placed and has sort of a certain length and width. And of course, you'll be able to choose where on your land you want these things to be built. And you can see here we're essentially working on the system where you can place those items. The land plots will have a 10 by 10 grid. So you can choose what items to place. Each item will have a cost, and it will essentially be a crafting recipe. So it'll cost a certain amount of resources, a certain amount of Marcia, and then you'll be able to place objects on your land. The objects can be used to either mine for subsurface resources, or they can be used to extract from like the atmosphere, etc., using for those sorts of things that are familiar to you guys from the main game. Let me just read the comments here. So noobs might be more incentivized to test Outpost Surge if the rewards were more in their comfort zone, i.e. some base cards and maybe a couple of ownership sponsorship cards. Okay. We can certainly consider some mission control rewards. Okay. Manja looks like he can now click the button, so that's good. I can't spell. I'm not sure if you have a little bit more of a detail on what you're thinking there, but that would be helpful. Just because, you know, our current plan with Outpost Surge is to have Surge token as well as some cards from Outpost Surge be airdropped. Or Marcia. Go back to the site. Okay, I don't know. Kimmy, on land, craft will rise our farm. Any player will be able to use our structure. So it's going to be a little different than that. You're only going to be able to use your structures on your land to farm resources. So resources will be used to build parts, and you'll need to use manufacturing facilities to build those parts. So let me show you just a diagram real quick. Okay, so we'll start with mining on land, and you'll actually purchase land based on its resource amount. So the first thing we're going to release with land is the ability for you to explore the map, favorite land plots, and view the subsurface resources on the land. And we'll also publish the crafting recipes for parts and the crafting recipes for buildings on land, and just sort of generally like the resource chain amounts on land, so you can strategize what land plots you want to use. And then once you buy land, you can build on land and mine. Mining on land will produce resources that are unrefined. So then the first thing you'll do is you'll start accumulating resources. Your land will have a certain storage amount, and then you need to send those to a refinery. And then that cost will be, transportation cost will always be in Marcia. This refines your parts. And if you want to make parts, then you ship those refined resources to the nearest manufacturing plant. If you don't want to make parts and you just want to sell the resources, then you send them back to the main settlement for Marcia. If you're far away from the main settlement, you'll use a transportation hub. And then you can trade artifacts for Marcia. You can use resources to boost resource chain production. This is probably, we're probably going to not do this. this was just an idea. And then potentially use parts to craft ownership cards. We might also just have everything converted to Marcia. We're looking at simplifying it a bit. But essentially, this is the flow from mining to refining to manufacturing. And then you'll also, from this point on, instead of sending it to the main settlement, you can actually recycle it back to your land and build additional structures on your land. Marcia will also be used to hire astronauts, which you'll need to operate certain equipment. So it's basically like a mini resource chain on your land that you're managing. And you can purchase sort of resource supplements with Marcia for your land to operate it efficiently. And that's kind of the general idea right now. We are experimenting with some additional scenarios, things like what happens if your items get damaged, because we can actually play around with turning items on and off based on damage, maybe even destroying items if they're abandoned, that sort of thing. Okay, I can't spell. For beta testing, Outpost Surge only, and a one-time reward. If there will be a ranking system at the end of the testing phase, we can reward people based on their rank with some base cards and ownership cards. I think this will incentivize many to play the beta. Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think a lot of people signed up for the airdrop from the Barachain community, and they might not be on mission control, but there's no hurt in having those people sign up for mission control to get a potential ownership card or a set of base cards to play and try mission control. So yeah, maybe that is possible. Kimmy really wishes that he can be able to be airdropped. That's his number one wish. So hopefully we can grant that to him. Michael 88, will manufacturing facilities earn fees for allowing players to use them? Yes. So manufacturing facilities, refineries, as well as transportation hubs can all be built by players on their land. And the building of these is sort of like a special thing. It's like a special item to build on land. And you'll need to purchase a license in Marcia to build these. So yes, and then the payoff for building these and managing them is that people will pay a fee to use them. So there will be like a default refinery, manufacturing plant, and transportation hub that anyone can use with like a relatively high fee. And then the idea is that it would be more economic to choose one of them that is managed by a player. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at. Land, again, it's moving along. We are probably going to have an internal build to test just the initial land stuff in the next week or two, which is exciting. So we're looking forward to that. Will innovations be applicable to land play? Can vehicle breakdown when transporting a soloable vehicle? Just plan innovations, make them indestructible. If we're going to do those sorts of things, we might create like sort of a separate system for those innovations. Our main goal is to make the game loop here enticing and interesting for the mining to refining to manufacturing. So our focus is there, and then we can add some enhancements from there. The main connection point will, of course, be like Marcia. So that's really where we're looking to make sure everything's connected. Should all landowners come together to agree that transportation hub goes through their land, or is it automatically included in the license to occupy lands? So the way we're thinking about it is someone can purchase the license to build a transportation hub, and then it's a free market. So they're investing in building that transportation hub, and if they build it in a place where there's demand, there's need for a transportation hub, then it'll be used by players. So it's kind of like, I don't know, building a business in real life where if you choose the wrong location, the business is not going to succeed. So you have to be smart about what land you use to build a transportation hub. And the other piece of data for land is like its location. So if you're closer to a transportation hub, then you're probably going to have a better economic benefit for that location. And so, it's kind of like a win-win. If a transportation hub goes up around land, that land's probably also going to rise in value because it's going to be cheaper to essentially buy and sell things through that transportation hub. Janut says that easements on his land are going to cost you. So watch out. Chad Lab says, hey guys, bye Marsha. Wow. There's a lot of aggression here. I don't know how I feel about it. No, I love it. It's great. Can we craft solar flares to parts? We're developing the crafting recipes right now. The downside with doing this is it limits the parts amount to like 100 solar flares. So I don't think we're going to be using solar flares for parts. I think we'll probably end up using dark matter for most parts recipes. And, just to simplify it, it will probably just be like dark matter cards that we use. You can, of course, craft up to dark matter using our crafting system. So we're looking at that. And then, of course, there will be a Marsha cost, resource cost, and all of those details. So crafting will be sort of a pretty key part of the system. And we have a great crafting system in the game. So we're planning on utilizing that. And it's very intuitive. Like it shows you what cards you need. You can filter by crafts that you can do based on your inventory and all that. So yeah. Will coalitions of landholders be able to construct big projects in the future? Transportation tubes that can. Yeah, so this is the direction we would head. So I think you're in the right kind of ballpark with thinking. We're thinking that down the line, there can be, sort of community governed settlements where there can be sort of agreements between landholders for transportation routes, for discounts on, transportation costs, and potentially even ways to, share resources across borders. So yeah, we're looking at that. But it gets complex. And again, I think one of the lessons we learned from Mission Control is just, to make the game fun, to make it simple to start, and, a good game loop, and then add systems on top of that foundation. So with land, we're really focused on how is the system just generally, like, how does it work and is it fun? And are there some interesting strategies that aren't overly complex? and then we'll get into some of the more detailed systems later on. Charlie, how you doing? You're kind of popping in and out. All right. We do have a little something. We do have one more thing for you guys. It's a fun project that we are working on. We're obviously like always looking at, okay, what are the opportunities to bring more players in? We've really been exploring Telegram and the Telegram open network and what some of the things are over there. And we are looking at launching a mini game over there to really bring a lot of new people in. This would be something that is sort of a tap to earn game to mine opals. So the idea is essentially in Telegram, you would be able to launch a bot that brings this game up. And I'll just quickly show kind of what it looks like. But I think you guys will love it. It's a really cool looking experience. So the game itself will be launched in Telegram. It's a game where you're basically just mining opal, and all you do is you tap on the opal itself. It will allow you to mine the opal, increasing your balance in game. And then there are certain, every time you tap, your energy level goes down. And so once it hits 0, you can no longer mine. And you can essentially upgrade your energy capacity and also upgrade your the efficiency of mining. And so you'll use some of the Mars equipment to upgrade there. There are going to be some tasks to basically help promote the game, and doing certain things to help share the app, and there will be some alliances and things like that. So this is really an effort to kind of revive Telegram, to hook into the Telegram open network, and to basically test the waters on opening the top of our funnel to more players. And of course, we are, this is essentially, think of this as a bit of a marketing effort, a bit of a new exciting, way to interact with our ecosystem, and, something that we wanted to try out. So yeah, we're going to be building this. We'll release it in the next couple weeks. And then, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys, since you are the, you guys are always getting the first information. So, yeah, if you've been playing Hamster Combat or YesCoin, those games, they have millions of players. These are things that are similar in concept. So it's very possible for us to gain an audience like that, because one of the things that we are very strong on is we have fantastic game design and really cool looking assets, and so we're obviously looking to leverage that. And of course, eventually we would like to have a few opportunities for people who are tapping to earn to come and try the land experience out, mission control, and kind of get introduced to other games in our ecosystem. So that's kind of the vision there. You will be able to play the game directly in the kind of, John. So it's basically a new chat that will open up, and you press play in that chat, and it opens the game up, and you will be able to invite a Telegram group. So if you have like a group with your guilds or your friends, you can invite them into the game, and you guys can tap together to earn more opal. There will also be a chat for the game itself where we'll share updates. We'll be doing some giveaways for various, like, we'll be doing like USDC giveaways, that sort of thing. And so people who are on the top of the leaderboard, alliances that are on the top of the leaderboard, will get some of those giveaways. Cool. So yeah. Anything else, Charlie? Anything I'm missing?
No, you kind of cut in a little bit in and out for me because I'm having some technical difficulties here. But yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good on that.
Okay, cool. Let's see, Kimmy. We'll have a bot prevention on land sale. Yeah, I mean, we'll probably have the land sale conducted on a marketplace that has bot prevention built in. We're still exploring kind of where this will happen. But as we mentioned last time, the main currencies for land sale will be Marsha, and then we're gonna have like a discount for Marsha. So yeah, we'll see where that happens, whether it's Atomic Hub or Nifty Blocks. We're also considering some other marketplaces. Marsha and in-store credit, yeah. So as long as we can figure out how to sell land with in-store credit, we're gonna try to figure that out. I realized that it might be a lot more complicated to get in-store credit working on in this land sale. So depends on how complicated it is to actually get it integrated. But Marsha for sure. Okay, guys, we're gonna wrap it up for today. But thank you for tuning in, and join us next week. Next Thursday is July 4th, so we'll have to figure something out because that's probably going to be challenging for most people. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the feedback, and have a great rest of your week.
Bye all.